We've got something fun this week, the GR86.
Andrea's gonna drive stick, the great Gazoo. Let's go. And we're off. Sounds good, right?
Really good.
What's under the hood of the GR86, Andrea?
A 2.4-liter flat 4 with a 6-speed manual and an option automatic transmission. 228 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. Rear-wheel drive only, and you've got to put premium fuel in this GR86.
And because this has a larger displacement engine, 0 to 60 times have improved. From 7 seconds, 0 to 60, to just 6.1 with the manual, and 8 seconds to 6.6 with the automatic. So a new model, they updated it. What do you get with it? What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with an 8-inch touchscreen, a 7-inch digital driver display, Apple Carplay and Android Auto, smart key with push-button start, manual driver and passenger seat, cloth upholstery, active rear sport differential, LED headlights, heated side mirrors, 17-inch wheels, and a tire repair kit.
Love all the buttons and switches. Yep. What are we gonna put it in?
You gotta put it in S for subscribe. And if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, that's important, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to follow along with what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button.
This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.
What a massive improvement from the previous model. This reaches peak torque at 3,700 RPM compared to the previous model at 6,600.
You used to have to rev the hell out of the engine all the time to get it to perform, which could be really kind of tiring if you're driving it for a long period of time. It reminded me of the old Honda S2000, had the same kind of engine. It was really peaky powered. Now it's finally got some torque, which it desperately needed.
I mean, this is so fun to drive. I applaud Toyota for coming out with a manual transmission in this. You have got a fun, lightweight, sporty car.
What hasn't changed from the old model to the new model are the driving dynamics.
Yeah.
It's still a fun little darty car. The steering is very precise. It's all the stuff enthusiasts are looking for. A really connected car, rear-wheel drive only. It's a little ball of fun.
And it is lively. This thing is always on. It's loud. It doesn't have an artificial exhaust note. This is the real deal.
And it can get a little noisy. So the fatiguing part of driving the old car was you had to rev the engine all the time.
Yeah.
Now this can be a bit buzzy if you're driving it for longer distances, but it's okay. This is a perfect second car, really. Or,
I agree.
Or a young person, their primary car. That's really what the market is for this.
Yeah, super fun.
Actually, our neighbor has about 4 cars. He's got a 911, and he bought this because his 911 is a PDK automatic.
Yeah.
He wanted some fun. He bought one of these. Now, I'm not usually a fan of black wheels. You know that if you watch here regularly.
Yeah.
But with this color of red with the black wheels looks really good. This reminds me of Porsche's Guards red.
Yeah, it's a beautiful cherry red. I like black wheels, so I think this color combo is really sharp. I like what they've done to the front grille. It's really squared off. It reminds me of the F-Type.
I agree. It does have an F-Type inspired front end. That's pretty good company because that's a great looking little car. I like the ducktail at the back, the little spoiler, similar to the Supra. You can see they're trying to get a Supra family resemblance here, and I think it works. This car looks good from every angle. There's no bad look on it.
No, and because of the bigger engine, it would get heavier. So Toyota actually used aluminum for the front hood, the roof, as well as the front fenders.
So the whole philosophy, as you're probably aware of this car, is to keep it simple. So it's got a clean, simple look on the outside, and that carries over to the inside. We have more of this coming up in Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
I like the interior of this. Like you said, Zach, you're just getting down to basics with it. This is about the drive, and it handles beautifully.
So when you met me,
Where are we going with this?
You know, I had a GTI. Remember back in the day?
I do. First, the Celica.
And then we started dating, and I had a GTI. If I had this, was I date-worthy driving this?
Of course you were date-worthy. You were date-worthy anyway, Zach.
If I was driving a Ford Galaxy, would that be date-worthy?
I'd have to reconsider, maybe.
See, it makes a difference, guys. This is a good car for a young guy.
This is a fun car, super fun. But Zach had a press car, and it was a yellow cabriolet.
Yeah, it was a Golf cabriolet.
Yeah, and
it had a white
loved
interior.
it.
Andrea loved it, and
everybody thought it was my car, not his.
I remember driving. I was out in Surrey, and a big pickup, jacked up pickup next to me, and the guy looks out the window and he says, "Is that your girlfriend's car?" Nice, dude.
It was pretty sweet.
One thing that's not great, the cup holders are back here, but that's kind of a sacrifice you have for a little car, so let's get into it.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Is it fair to say the back seat is basically unusable? How would it compare to the late 90s or early 2000s coupes like the Celica and Integra?
Wait, before you go on. In America, it's called Celica.
Yeah.
And we call it Celica. Why are there so many differences in car names north and south of the border?
It's so annoying, and it gets us in lots of trouble because people say, why do you Canadians pronounce it this way?
Well, good thing we're not driving the Subaru, because that's called a BRZ.
Yeah.
There you go. There's another one.
That's another issue. So the back seat, yes, is pretty much unusable.
Useless,
I mean, maybe a small child could fit back there. I tried to go in to take pictures from Instagram off of the driver side, and I can't even get in. So I had to shimmy my way from the front into the back to get a longer picture. It was quite the scene.
So back to the Celica.
Yeah, back to the Celica. Zach, he is your guy. He owned one that when I met Zach, he had it. You had one. He asked me, what color was it, Andrea?
Yeah,
and I said,
I
think it was gray.
It was silver and gray, yeah. All right, I drove from Toronto here in the early 90s to start up a new radio station, which is where I met Andrea. And then it all began.
Memories.
And I packed all of my worldly possessions in the car.
Yeah.
The back seat I folded down. I got as much stuff as I could in there, and I drove across the country by myself. And that back seat was actually quite useful. In fact, I did a review of one recently.
Yeah.
A few months ago from Core Cars.
Yeah.
And it's got a big back seat. This is clown car stuff.
Yeah, tiny.
Actually, because it's so small, I couldn't get in there. I put my hand between where my seat is now and the back seat, and you can see it's the width of my hand. That's it.
Tiny. How does it feel going in and out of the car? I'm getting a little older now, and I'm worried about my bad back. I would be worried because it sits very low to the ground, and it isn't the easiest to get in and out of. I mean, if you're 20, no problem.
It's tiny. It's a tiny little car, but I'm so glad it's still here. I'm so glad it exists.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, once you're in it, you're in for a whole lot of fun. But yeah, the getting in and out.
And the seats are comfortable, aren't they?
You know what? It's a trick. You kind of roll out and roll in.
Roll in. And once you're in, you're golden. We put out a lot of content each week on the Motormouth YouTube channel, and it's so easy to find.
All you do is go to the YouTube search bar and you type in Motormouth, the name of the channel, then the brand you're looking for. In this case, Toyota, and then all of our reviews pop up. It's that easy.
I love the old model, but it was a little rough around the edges, particularly in the interior. Have they made any improvements? And how does it stack up against the MX-5?
Well, both of those cars have the same attitude and the same goals. And the good thing for Mazda, and there's another one, is that, they've stayed true to the pureness of the car, which is a front engine, rear wheel drive, down to basics, keep the price down. And to achieve that, you have to give up some things like soft touch materials. Both cars suffer from it, but I'm okay with that because the amount of joy that's bundled into this little car for the price is really hard to beat.
One thing I love about the MX-5 is that it does have a convertible, and I think that that's really fun and probably something that I would want to go for personally.
I like the fact this doesn't even have a sunroof.
Yeah,
Yes!
he's in his glory. In this model, we have the top trim, and it comes with Alcantara and a leather-trimmed interior, which is quite nice. It does elevate it a little bit. It also comes now standard with an 8-inch touchscreen and a 7-inch digital driver display, and it's a tiny car, so you don't really need anything larger screen-wise.
So these cars are enthusiast-driven, right? So what I love is it has all of the switchgear, our buttons. You don't have to go into a screen. You don't have to drive along trying to hit something. It's just boom, and you're done. It's so great.
And the knobs are quite large, aren't they?
Easy to use.
Yeah, for a little car. Some were complaining about the handbrake, saying that it's a little bit too old school for them, and Toyota could have updated it. But being a manual, it's helpful to have it.
If you drive manual, you want a handbrake like this. And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Looking sharp. How does the drive compare to the Miata? And how is power delivery compared to the previous generation, which suffered from torque dip?
You know what, Andrea? This might go down as one of the most improved cars I've driven in a long time.
Yeah.
You know what? I liked the old one. I love this one. The old one was, as I mentioned earlier, kind of hard work to drive. This is a pleasure.
Yeah. What a difference with the torque.
Yeah.
What an improvement.
Yeah, it makes it much more drivable, especially at city speeds.
Yeah.
You're always having to wring it out, and now you can even, go up a gear and okay, so we're driving at 75 kilometers an hour or at 2,500 RPM, and I put my foot into it, and it's tractable. It pulls.
Yeah.
You never get that with the old car. So it's to live with every single day. Really, really nice job.
So anybody who's got the old car, they've got to upgrade now because it's just night and day.
You know, everybody used to ask me, what would you recommend this over Miata?
Yeah.
And I always said no, because the Miata does have real torque and bottom end, and it's fun to drive.
Yeah.
Now this one really competes well against that, and also really competes well on price. So this car in Canada is just over $30,000
Yeah.
in Canada. The Miata is just over $33,000, but is the base model of this one the one you should buy, Andrea?
Well, I think it comes with everything that you probably need in a vehicle like this, but you don't get the heated seats and you don't get blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert.
I like heated seats.
I know.
Especially, I was going to say with the roof down, but the roof doesn't.
No. And also 18-inch wheels, which our test model has. I think they look hot. And then don't forget about the duckbill spoiler in the back. That comes on the premium package.
I don't understand why Toyota calls it a duckbill spoiler.
I don't know.
I mean, I always used to call it a ducktail spoiler.
Yeah.
So yes, a duck's bill goes like that, but
Yep.
a duck's tail goes like that. And it's on the back. So it's ducktail, like a Porsche with the ducktail. It's
Yeah.
called a ducktail.
It's a ducktail.
So why is it called a duckbill?
You know what? Either way, bill or tail, you need it. I
Yeah.
think you've got to get it, right? So
Yeah.
you've got to pay the $3,000 extra
You know what?
for that top package, plus the Alcantara in here.
You know what? Heated seats with the ducktail, it's just a few dollars more per
Yeah.
month. Go for it. I guarantee you the dealers that order these in will get them like this.
And no heated steering wheel in here, of course. And then the seats are manual, driver and passenger, even on that top trim.
All right, we talked about it a little bit, like what else is out there for your fun sports car dollar?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the BRZ. It has the same 2.4-liter boxer 4-cylinder as this GR86, 228 horsepower, and a starting price of just under $29,500.
Next is the Mazda MX-5 soft top with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, 181 horsepower, and a starting price of just over $33,000.
The Ford Mustang with the 2.3-liter EcoBoost engine, 310 horsepower, and a starting price of just over $32,000.
The all-new Nissan 400Z or 400Z with a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 with a manual transmission or automatic and a starting price of $46,500.
So there are 4 fun cars for you to consider.
Fuel economy, warranty, better warranty in the U.S.
Yeah.
And pricing, of course, it's all in our vital stats.
Let's start with pricing. The manual starts at just under $31,500 Canadian and just under $28,000 in the US. The automatic starts at just under $34,000 Canadian and just over $29,000 US.
Here's the fuel economy for the automatic. 11.1 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 7.7 on the highway. That's 21 miles per gallon city, 31 miles per gallon highway. The warranty is 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, or 36,000 miles. In the US, you get complimentary maintenance for 2 years or 25,000 miles. Lightning round. Two things we like to see improved.
I love the way this sounds.
This has got to be one of the most improved cars I've driven so far this year.
Well, what I'd love is a heated steering wheel.
But I'd like a power-operated driver's seat.
This is such a blast to drive, and it's manual. Get it while you can.
That's the whole thing. How long are these kind of cars going to be around? Who knows?
This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.